Hey everyone, it's Matt here, the TokuDragon, and today we are doing another episode of Toku Station, and we have so much to talk about today. I actually took a bit of a break from doing Toku Station just because I thought, there's going to be some more stories trickling in soon. I had a feeling, and boy, did that feeling pay off, because we are talking about so much today. We're talking about a Kamen Rider movie legally coming out to the US, in the US, also some other Kamen Rider and Super Sentai movies, some Kamen Rider logos, stuff about Netflix's Ultraman Season 2, also some stuff about some other Tokusatsu films that are coming out here legally in the US on Blu-ray. Again, so much, and even some Kamen Rider merch. So a lot of interesting stuff. I have my glasses right here. I'm going to need those to see. You know how that whole thing works, hopefully. I'm assuming you know. Either way, I want to thank you all so much for either watching this on our TokuDragon channel, our YouTube channel, or listening to this through our Podbean, which will be linked in the description box down below, which is Those Guys Radio, and not linked if you're actually there, in which case, thank you. But either way, we're going to first jump into our first story, which is the fact that Kamen Rider Heisei Generations Forever is actually coming out legally in the US. So it's very interesting the way this news trickled out. So we first heard through Toku Nation. By the way, if you're watching this through our YouTube channel, links will be in the description box down below. So the Toku Nation website actually talked about the fact that Kamen Rider Heisei Generations Forever would be coming to Pluto TV, and of course with English subtitles, and it was going to be licensed through the Tokusatsu platform, which was created by Shout Factory, which I did mention a few episodes back. But what I didn't mention a few episodes back, because it's brand new information, is the fact that not only is this movie premiering on July 11th, which, yes, you look at your calendar, it's tomorrow, but also the fact that it will be premiering at 4 p.m. PT. I don't know my times. I'm pretty sure PT is a Silent Hill playable demo, a playable teaser. So I definitely need to remember my time zones. As a New Yorker, I should probably look into that. But what's important is 4 p.m. PT, and it's going to be premiering on the Nerdist YouTube channel and the Geek and Sundry Twitch channel. So yes, this is a collaboration, Team Kamen Rider and Tokusatsu in association with the Nerdist brand. So that's very interesting, and I do have some things I want to bring up. So because this definitely confuses me, I'll say that much, jumping into this, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. All speculation on my end, of course, but I'll talk about that a little bit later, because if you don't know, the movie Kamen Rider Heisei Generations Forever is a crossover film that basically has characters and some interesting cameos too. Some people coming back that I don't think would come back. Not going to spoil there if you don't know, but the film actually takes place, it's has characters from all across the Heisei era coming together to essentially fight off a brand new villain. Again, don't want to give too many spoilers away if you haven't seen any teasers. I haven't seen the film myself, but I've seen teasers. So I'm very interested in checking this out. Definitely will have a review for it either later on this week or this weekend or next week. So that's definitely a good reason why I should be subscribed and also turn the notifications on. But either way, though, what's interesting too is that, by the way, this entire week, hopefully you'll be able to catch it, even though you're just hearing this news now. There will be not only will there be a panel the day of, which will actually be a panel that consists of Team Kamen Rider, Shout Factory TV, Tokusatsu Network, and Toku Station, which is the Nerdist House 2020 panel that introduces the film. So that'll be before the film airs, which again 4 p.m. PT. But also from July 6th to July 11th, there's going to be a bunch of live streams from Team Kamen Rider for an event that they're calling Heisei Week, which is really nice. And each day, Team Kamen Rider and special guests will discuss a number of Kamen Rider series and collectibles from the Heisei era leading up to the live stream of the movie. So again, even though you missed it like I have, I'm sure there's still ways to catch some of the stuff that they've talked about. And if for some reason you do miss the live stream, as I mentioned before, it is coming to Pluto TV, but now we know that's actually coming out August 1st, 2020. So that is very important to note as well. So if you for some reason cannot make this live stream, this isn't the only time we're going to see it. It will be out then. I do wonder if there are potential releases on Blu-ray thought of for the future, and the reason why I say this is because, well, we have yet to see any either Blu-rays or DVDs or anything when it comes to the original Kamen Rider or to Kuga. Those are longer series, and I wonder if, especially looking at the fact that you still have Mill Creek, and different company altogether, of course, with a different license under completely different agreements, but still in different contracts and whatnot, but still when you have Mill Creek still releasing little, series here and there, they're still revving up for Ultraman Genga, which I talked about that about 2 episodes or so ago, I believe. But when you have that still going on, you do wonder if maybe the problem is just the fact that the series, at least looking at the original Kamen Rider, is so long. And of course, everything going on in the world right now, maybe things are a bit too tumultuous for Shout Factory wanting to put something more physical out. Maybe there's a lot more money involved. Again, all speculation on my end. But with this just being a movie, yes, movies can be expensive by themselves. There's a reason why usually anime movies are not packaged in with their respective series. They're usually separate licenses altogether when compared to their respective TV shows. But just kind of having this randomly come out, I do wonder if this might actually get a DVD or Blu-ray release. Also, I mentioned the panel before, so I should mention now that through the Nerdist and the Tokusatsu Twitter account, you can actually ask them questions and they will be answered during the panel using the hashtag #AskKamenRider. So that's pretty nice. But either way, though, I mentioned before that this seems like a rather weird acquisition. Now, it makes more sense, I think, that Nerdist is involved, having an outside, especially because, again, movies can be very expensive to license. So it makes sense to have Nerdist involved, increasing the brand of Kamen Rider in the West. Makes sense. But what I'm sure there's some some people that are huge fans of Kamen Rider from Nerdist. But what I find very interesting and kind of confuses the fact that it seems as if Tokusatsu or Shout Factory, they're looking at the just Kamen Rider overall, and they're basically, I would argue that with this release, they're coming out and saying, look, we know in some way or another you've seen this before, okay? Don't lie to us. We know. But even if that's the case, this is a film that's a rather newer film. I don't believe it's the newest Kamen Rider film. I feel like there was something after this. But still, it's a newer Kamen Rider film. It's a biggin. It was obviously a very, a huge event in Japan. So I'm sure also Toei is also a big fan of having this come out in the West. But it really does feel as if Shout Factory and Toei are just sitting back going, look, you've probably seen all these shows, which normally I would say isn't the best decision. At least when I first heard of this, I thought, really? Because even though, yes, there are a lot of people who have seen all of the Kamen Rider before this through some other means. But personally, I feel like trying to get people interested in Kamen Rider, telling them, oh my god, you have to go see 1971 on Tubi TV. You definitely also have to see Kuga as well, which I know was initially being shown on Pluto. I watched a few episodes of that, never got the chance to review it. Definitely going to try to watch it through Tokusatsu, through their streaming service or their streaming platform. But I don't know if it is available on Tubi TV. I should probably check that right now as we're talking about it. But either way, just telling people to get into Kamen Rider now that they have the chance to feel like they're giving back to Toei in some way or another. It confuses me. So the original Kamen Rider is available, and Kuga is too. Okay, that's nice. So Kuga is also available both through Tubi TV. Also Gamera, that will be something interesting to mention a little bit later on in the episode. But either way, the two Kamen Riders are available through there, and I'm sure eventually the movie will be available through Tubi as well. But either way, though, it feels like when it comes to new fans, and obviously I'm not privy to any information, I don't know how many new fans have come into the fandom through these shows legally being licensed. It just seems as if it's an odd move, and it seems like, at least for any new fans, they might feel like they're a bit left out. And again, it's just something that it feels like it would be like licensing Decade or Geo without having any of this context. I mean, it would be like licensing Gokaiger as your third option after I don't know, Zoo Ranger. It would be Go Ranger, but still Zoo Ranger, and then licensing Time Ranger. I don't know what the equivalent would be in Sentai. So much Sentai over the years, but still, it would be like going to Gokaiger or even going to the Gawa Ranger that special. That would actually, yes, very much like that Gawa Ranger special. I think that at the time it was 25 years. Oh man, how the time goes by. But still, it'd be like licensing that. It would just be odd, not awful. I'm not saying this is a terrible business decision. Again, I'm not privy to any of their numbers. It's just a rather odd one as a fan looking in who, yes, I am their target demo. Don't get me wrong. Again, as I mentioned before, I'm gonna watch this. I'm definitely going to watch this. it just feels odd. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just that it feels very interesting as a decision. I do have some other theories on this as to why they maybe went for this movie that I'll be talking about a little bit later on with some other news in this episode. But I'll just end it with watch this. Definitely watch this. If you know anything about the Heisei era, you know anything about Kamen Rider GO or Kamen Rider Build. I don't know anything about Build, but I do know about GO. I know about some of the other characters that are going to be existing in this. You know, I've seen wow, how many Heisei have I seen? I've seen Deno, Kuga, Agito, Deno, Kiva. Wow, Kiva, it's been a while. I've seen some Hibiki, some Blade. I saw all over Yuki, that was nice. But yeah, I've seen a fair amount of the Heisei era, at least from 2000 to 2009. It's the stuff after that gets a little hazy for me. But I enjoy Gaim. Just random thought. I really like Gaim. Double, of course. But either way, though, I do feel as if that this is going to be very interesting. I think it's an interesting experiment too. I'll say that. You know, if it does really, really well, then that shows you, well, maybe it doesn't really, because at this point it feels like Shout Factory has been very, 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 very particular in what they choose for Kamen Rider. You know, you go for the original, and then you go for the first and the Heisei era, and you look at that and you go, okay, where can we go next? And so going in this direction, if it does really well, shows you can kind of go anywhere you want to. But if it doesn't do as well, then it, you know, I'm not saying that they stop putting out Kamen Rider, although go watch this if you can. Watch this, please. But I do feel as if this doesn't do as well, then they'll go, okay, we're probably going to try to maybe release Agito, something, you know, maybe even go back to, I don't know if they can do V3 because they're still, I can't remember the company, Kakaida? Yeah, Kakaida, that has the rights at least to the DVDs for V3. So I don't know if they would go back to V3 necessarily, but they're going to be a bit more particular in what they choose. I would suggest they just go to black because you want to go to a popular show that everyone's going to love. If this doesn't do well, you go to black. But if not, then, you know, again, they can go anywhere they want to if this works. They can even sit back and go, screw it. Let's just go to, maybe not go to Decade. I liked Decade. That was actually my first, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. But they could easily go back to GO and go, you know what? Hey, this worked, so maybe people will actually like GO. Then they put that out, and then that's a more recent Kamen Rider, obviously. So then people will definitely feel like they could go anywhere if they want to. So it'll be very interesting if this works, and even if it doesn't, it would also be very interesting. This wouldn't be catastrophic. I don't think that, again, like I said before, I don't think they'd stop releasing Kamen Rider over this. But July 11th, 4 p.m. PT. Check this out. What are your thoughts about it? Tell me in the comment section down below. I'll be very interested to hear what you have to say about it and how you're going to be watching this movie.